think. No, whatever. 29, whatever day it is. 26th, I think, of January 2026. Sorry. Forgot to look at the calendar earlier. Anyway, what's happening in the revolution? Well, it's going to be a bit of a grim uh, video. Right now, we've seen multiple prime opportunities pass, and the U.S. has not done anything in terms of kinetic action. However, a lot of pieces have been put into place. So if there is a hope that something will happen to dislodge the Ayatollah's dictatorship, it is basically that. All the pieces are physically in place now, at least many of the ones that you would expect to be in place for such a thing. We don't know what's going to happen. We would hope it's not necessary, that the Ayatollah would just resign and the government would just fold and hand itself over to the people, and they could switch to a new form of democracy peacefully. Ideally, that would be the best case scenario, but that is not realistic. And hold on one second. Give me 1 second. The most realistic outcome is that we are going to see some kind of kinetic action. I'm still saying days, not weeks. So, if it were going to happen, it will probably be this week, is my best guess. Last night would have been historically an optimal time for the sort of norms of what has happened over the recent decades. Sunday evening, we typically see that kind of thing happen. It didn't happen this time. I did tell you guys that if it were not to happen, it wouldn't be too surprising, since Trump likes to do things out of the ordinary from politics. Traditional orthodoxy of mainstream politics. He likes to do things a little different, and he likes to make people wait and build up support and all this kind of stuff. So it could very well be that he's still working on that, that his administration is still working on that. And it could very well be that we will see some action this week, some kind of an event to dislodge the government. Of course, in Israel, every day, day in and day out, we're hearing constantly, nonstop, that this may happen at any moment. Excuse me again, 1 second. And that we have to be prepared for the non-zero probability that there's going to be something. Obviously, we really would rather not see more ballistic missiles thrown at us, but it is highly probable that whenever any kind of kinetic action would happen, that Iran would do that anyway. And strategically, from the general's point of view, government's point of view, it's probably better overall for the picture for Israel if the U.S. were to take some kind of action, and of course for Iran, the people of Iran, if the U.S. were to take some kind of action sooner rather than later, because later the Iranian government would have more, the occupied Iranian government would have more time to rebuild its arsenal of weapons, etc. And so they would have more things to shoot at Israel and at U.S. bases that are likely to be targeted. And that is exactly why, here in Israel anyway, people are pretty much expecting that we're going to see something sooner rather than later, because, yes, it may be that the government is not yet weakened enough, but there was also the question of, the issue of the momentum. And you don't want to lose this momentum, because if this does not happen, there's a very high likelihood that we won't see an opportunity like this again, maybe for many years, right? Maybe 3 years, maybe 5, maybe 10, maybe more, maybe 12 years, who knows? It could be a while. And that's just because so many people have been slaughtered by the dictatorship in Iran over the past few weeks. We've seen now reports of upwards of 80,000 people have been killed in a matter of a couple of days, which would put the overall number of people killed well above 80,000, maybe 100,000 or more in the last few weeks, which dwarfs the number of non-combatants killed in Gaza over the past more than 2 years, since October 7th, 2023, or since really late October 2023, when Israel actually started to attack Hamas in Gaza. And not a word of protest about genocide or anything like that from the extreme left wing that has been screaming that there's a genocide in Gaza. They've been screaming that since October 7th, when Israel was still being attacked. But when it comes to the people of Iran, not a word of protest from those people. The only people you're hearing anything like that from are the people from in Israel and other people around the world who support the people of Iran. Iranian dissidents, of course, and people in Iran saying that there's a real genocide happening. They're slaughtering tens of thousands of people, if not more. More than 100,000 already. Who knows how many? We have no way to get exact numbers right now. But reports we're seeing from people in Iran are that they are slaughtering people left and right with automatic machine gun fire, heavy machine guns, snipers, hatchets, beatings with clubs, kicking people to death, like curb stomping, all that kind of disgusting stuff, and worse. And it is absolutely brutal what's happening over there. It is a real genocide, if you want to call it that. I don't know what else you would call it. And again, not a word of protest from the usual left-wing extremists and supporters of terrorism, who again have been hypocritically silent about this whole thing, while they accuse Israel of having done a genocide in Gaza, even despite the fact that it's exactly to the contrary in Gaza, where Israel is specifically targeting Hamas terrorists. And yes, innocent people die because of the way Hamas hides behind civilians, etc. But the hypocrisy could not be clearer, and the whole world is seeing it. Which is why you're even seeing idiots like Greta Thunberg shift their protests from all of that to things like Greenland or other nonsense. It's very telling what is happening. The mask has come off completely so many times and is so obviously off right now. There's really nothing else to say about that. I will update you guys in another video coming soon. More in depth, more at length. Maybe not just a walk and talk. But stay tuned, smash the like, hit subscribe. Let me get this word out to more people. What's happening right now in Iran is a historical opportunity. And the West, and leaders of the West specifically, would be greatly remiss were they to miss this opportunity, in my opinion, to do something to change the leadership in Iran. Anyway, that's it for now. Take care. Hey.